This is a picture of an actual human baby that was born with a tail. This is known as a vestigial tail. And did you know that all humans actually start out with a tail like this when you are an embryo? So the normal development over the first 8 weeks is we develop with a tail, and then around week 8, it usually stops development and starts to resorb. However, if something goes off in that process, the tail will continue to develop and a baby could actually be born like this. This is very rare, but if it does happen, the sizes can vary to up to several centimeters. The good news is typically there's no bony structures in these tails and they can be surgically removed. However, this can happen in humans, and this is known as a vestigial tail.
White people's ancestors.
I want to show you guys some of the documents showing the white races of Europe, and we can get a better perspective as to who the Moors were fighting. These are the albinos and the beasts of Europe, and the Moors were fighting these people for hundreds of years prior to the so-called transatlantic slave trade. And one interesting thing I wanted to show you is that when you look at these beasts and albinos and how they have achieved what they've been able to achieve in just a few hundred years, keeping in mind that they were considered wild men just a few hundred years ago, and they had no last names. Many of them didn't even have first names. And I wanted to show you this because I found this very interesting. If you see here the wild men, and you look at the clothing that the people are wearing to the left, you can see here they're wearing this clothing to cover up their hairy bodies. So I found that very interesting. And something else I found in the British Library was one of the oldest genealogy charts, one of the first ones made for white people. And as you can see at the bottom of that genealogy chart, you see two wild men. So they're showing that their ancestry comes from the caveman. So that should give you something to think about, considering that just a few hundred years later, today, we have people like the Queen of England who claim to be of the royal bloodline of Egyptians and Cushites who ruled the earth. They even found the remains of a boy who was buried at Stonehenge in Europe. He was buried in Europe, but he actually came from the Mediterranean Sea in Africa. And he came to Europe 3,500 years ago. So that's in 1500 BC. So we're told that the Moors arrived in Europe in 700 AD. But here we have Black people out of Africa coming to Europe over 2,000 years before the Moors arrived in 700 AD.
Let's say that somebody was coming into our church and they're Black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, they of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call Black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy, they look like Satan in how they act. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at, almost pretty much without exception, they excel at them. Black culture. So when we make this generalization, one of the purposes of it, one of the points of utility for it, is for Black people who do not embody that culture to repudiate it, hate it, and also for policymakers to make the kind of political movements and in terms of law and order that would usher in the change over time of that culture. One of them would be something like, I tweeted about this, the law of Moses in Deuteronomy 21 concerning a rebellious child. If 5 to 6% of Black, I think it's something like 5% of Black males are murderers.
Yeah, 5% of young Africans are committing the bulk of the murders.
So if you had 100 Black men in
America,
a room, even just, I think specifically, if you had 100 Black men in a room, 5 of them would have committed murder, which is a lot, quite a few.
Well, as Matt Walsh pointed out, the actual number of Blacks who are committing murder is more than whites, and whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13%
percentage of the population. Yeah.
So if you take that, then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted through Moses. The law was that if you had a rebellious son, you have a child they're coming up into their manhood and they're rebellious, they don't listen. He lists some characteristics, and even though they're disciplined, they will not turn. He says the fathers to bring them out into the town square. This is a rebellious son, and then they stone him to death. They kill him.
And an armed robber would certainly be one of those.
Oh, absolutely. Armed robber, all the ghetto
violent
culture.
crimes.
Basically, take ghetto culture, it would describe this to a T. If you did that over 3 generations, how much violent crime would you have in the 3rd and 4th generation? Much, much less. What we've done instead is we've actually, with unjust weights and measures, we have wildly penalized whites for even virtuous acts in lawfare. And we have done everything because liberals have appointed Blacks to positions of power, and they're practicing ethnic and racial in-group preference. Like the several Black women who were involved in releasing DeCarlos, the murderer in the Charlotte.
I think 14
times.
Yeah, something like that.
His younger brother was a murderer in prison. His father was a violent criminal. Okay, so there's 2 sons and a father. If they'd cut that line off back the generation or 2 before, there's no DeCarlos to slit the throat. But what we have instead are, and in this case, the double whammy of Black female judges, politicians who have appointed these sorts of people.
The mayor of Charlotte, for example.
The mayor of Charlotte, like if you look at who appointed the judge and the judge that released them, it's 2 Black women. Okay, and what did they do? They said, oh, it's mental health, it's homelessness, it's this, it's that. It's not a criminal tendency of Black males that needs to be cut off through the wielding of the sword by the civil magistrate.
First of all praise to the Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters in recognition to observing this day for worshiping the Most High. Sundown this evening to sundown tomorrow evening, my people. Let's get some rest, worship, and praises in to the Father Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai's name, because he's definitely worthy of such. And it is a commandment throughout all of our dwellings, even in our downfall, even in our ridicule by the devil's children themselves. Now, we just saw the devil child lie and say that Black young men and Black culture is the worst thing that ever happened and what have you. And he's right when it comes to that, because Black culture is not our culture. Okay? It's their culture. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is this: everything that you see in Black culture is of the devil. And it's everything that we got from the devil. which is his people. From the music to all of the rebellion and everything else. We learn from imitating them. For the ones of us that's among us that do. Okay? It's all about subhuman American culture. Let's make that clear. You see what I'm saying? See, he just lied. Is what he did. I mean, everything that they are, the biggest murderers, molesters, thieves, liars. You see what I'm saying? They are the ones, not us. Regardless of those of us that imitate them, we could never be what they are. Okay, and that's just basically what it all boils down to. You see, they can lie with impunity just like they do everything else. All from the killing and pointing fingers, just like their father did. The devil himself. Which is Cain is actually their father. But their grandfather is the devil himself. You see. And as for the first video that we watched with the child born with the tail, you heard the man say that humans, he said humans, are born with a tail. No, there is no human ever created was born with a tail. Now, things that wasn't created for and meant to be on this earth, yes, that's in the form of a so-called human, were born with a tail. Okay, but the true creation of the Father that was from the Father himself, Yahweh, did not make humans with a tail. He differentiated the two between human and animal. You see what I'm saying? Where he gave animals a tail and a human how we are made in his image. And he does not have a tail. Okay? Now, when you got the hybrids, the Nephilim, the giants, and when they mingled their seeds with humans, you understand, it made some awful, grotesque-like type things. They had tails. A lot of them, you see, came with tails. A lot of them came with hair all over their bodies. A lot of them came with no neck and just shoulders and bottom of their chin touching their chest like an ape. Okay? A lot of them. We just saw that. See, I'm here today to just basically expose this subhuman for what he really is. A lowlife that is actually envious of the true creation of the Most High that was meant to be called a human being. And then this devil seed come around, turn right back around and point fingers. You see, at the true creation, which the Most High meant to dwell this earth, which is his children. You see, this is what they do. They do all these things. This is how they got this country. Everything he said black culture did, you see, that's how they got this country and basically this whole entire planet, because the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. And I'll say one more thing before we get into the lesson. If Moses' law was enacted, there would have never been a need for that law to be enacted. Number one, because why? They wouldn't have been here on the earth. And if that law was enacted that we're to basically take out rebellious children, they would have been gone a long time ago. A long time ago. You see what I'm saying? They would have been gone. If blacks were anything like he claimed that we are, they would have been gone a long time ago if we were all of these things, okay? Now, with that being said, let's get into the scriptures here. Here in Revelations 12:10, and it reads, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is accused them before our God day and night." did we not just see the accuser in action? See, he's doing what his father has done, which it says over in John chapter 8, verse 44. And it reads, Mashiach speaking, you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. You see, when he pointed a finger and said black culture is all these things, the Mashiach said right here, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. You see what I'm saying? See, even the Most High word exposed them when they put these lies out. When he said those things, he was talking about themselves. That's the reason why I said so-called black culture is their culture. It is. It's not our culture. The Most High did not make us to do those things. And for all of us that have rebelled, well then, we got the strap put to our asses for doing so. Explaining why we be in the shape that we are in as a people to this day. Because we ran off worshiping false gods, which was basically the devil himself. Okay? That's what that all boils down to. But still, that's their culture, not ours. Now, we're going to go over in Job, and Job is going to tell us just what these subhuman beasts are really about and how he became a victim to them. Okay? Job chapter 30, verse 1. We're going to take it down to probably about 12 to 13. Verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Okay? Yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former times, desolate and waste. This ape, this thing has come a long way, y'all. This is what that man's forefathers was all about right here before they became civilized. And you got to understand, we know they're really not, but I'm just saying. Here it is, verse 4. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cry after them, after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valley, in caves of the earth, and in rocks. We know who that is. He's called today Esau, but he stems from Cain. Okay? And Cain stems from the devil himself. All right? Verse 7. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Okay? Who is this describing, people? Who is it describing? See, the Most High word is going to front these liars out. Put them right out there where they belong. Okay? Verse 9. And now am I their song? Yea, I am their byword. We know what that byword is. Other than just blacks. With the hard ER. Right? Verse 10. They abhor me. They flee far from me. And spare not to spit in my face. How many videos have we seen where these subs will spit in some black person's face? How many times we seen that? And get the hell clocked out of their asses a lot of times. Some of you know these ones want to go, holier than thou and don't take care of business. But I'm just saying, other words, you know what happened to the ones that do it. Okay? Verse 11. Because he have loosed my cord and afflicted me, they have also let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth. They push away my feet, and they raise up against me the ways of their destruction. All right. They mar my path. They set forward my calamity. They have no helper. Okay. These are the ones that Job is talking about. These subs that we just watched. Okay. With hair all of them on them. Tails. You understand? Born with tails. And then up to the low life. That's it up there talking about black culture. See, this is what the devil do, though. He'll set things out there for you and tell you, oh, yeah, it's all right to go and do it. Listen to that nasty rap music and stuff like that. You understand? Put a gun in your hand. Yeah, if your brother dish you, kill him. You see what I'm saying? Put drugs in your hand, sell them to your community, and then time you do it. Black culture is this, black culture is that. You see? That's what the devil does, though. That's why you're supposed to be wiser than the serpent. And don't heed to this kind of thing right here. See, because this is what he does. Let's go a little bit further into his nature. The devil's son, that is. Habakkuk chapter, let me see what this is first. 2, verse 4, we're going to start there. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarged his desires hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? Claim everything, just like them subs that was just up there acting just like this world belonged to them. How long? Question. And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Question. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. See what the Most High is saying, you're going to reap what you sow, devil. That's what he's saying here. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Mr. Black Culture, because it's you. Black culture just in black, period, means something negative. Okay? We are not black people. We're children of the light. We're going to have to get out of calling ourselves, letting them name us black. You're black. Jesse Jackson gave this, African American. We ain't even that. We ain't African. Or the blacks. We're not. We're children of the light. And that's what this all boils down to. And it's time for us to start standing up, doing that, and shining like light does. Because that's what we was made for, to be a light unto the world. The way you do that is to repent and put away all these things that you're doing before the Most High that offends him. That's what it boils down to. Verse 9. Woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and established a city by iniquity. Who has done that, people? Who done that? We know who done it. The one that was standing up there talking about some damn black culture. Okay? Now, when they came here through the devil for our original grandmother for being disobedient, it says here in Matthew, let's see, 13:24. Another parable put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But the enemy is the devil, people, okay? And those tares among the wheat, we just watch them. They hairy, they got tails, and they tell a lot of lies and want to act like they're the original people, okay? Verse 26. But when the blades was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? Question. From whence then hath it tares? What is tares doing here? Okay. Verse 28, he said unto them, an enemy has done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Question. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. So the Most High didn't want to do that. Okay, why? Because it would have took out everybody. Okay, not time yet, but the tares days is coming. All right, Matthew 13 verse 30, and it reads, the Hamashiach speaking, let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat unto my barn. There it is, folks. There it is. So ain't nobody worried about what this tare talking about, because his day is coming. You see, and he gonna have to answer for all his lies. You see, I'm telling you, these subs, these Kenites, that's the original name. They done changed their names so many times. You understand what I'm saying? But now they refer to as Esau. But Cain was before Esau. Okay? Cain is the seed of the devil himself. That's the reason why, Cain had the mark. He had a mark put up on him. That mark was albinoism. You see what I mean? No pigmentation in his skin, no melanin. Okay? He had the kind of eyes that were kind of lit up, white looking, and they shifted back and forth just like the angels do. If you've seen albinos, you'll understand what I'm saying. Their eyes shift back and forth, sunlight, quickly. You see what I mean? Watch Tobias Wells on Black Lightning. You'll understand what I'm talking about. He's an albino. Cain more than likely looked like him, but much, much bigger. Okay? That's just what it is. That's all I got on this lesson, people. I hope I said something to stimulate your spiritual growth, and I hope you found the lesson edifying. All praises to the Father Yahweh, in Yahweh's name. People, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.